Hey everyone. Yeah, I guess I have a change of plans today. Want be one of those be probably a very rare day that I do this, so see what happens. I explained the situation to my boss and well, I'm not going in today. I just hope that doesn't affect me asking for Thanksgiving off, but we'll see what happens. If I do the daytime during Thanksgiving, that'd be great. We just have to wait and see. But anyway, anyway, I'm kind of surprised that nobody's really talked about this, and if they have, I haven't really seen it yet. But I'm pretty sure that a lot of people, from Alpha Omega Sin to Angry Joe, maybe, to Doug Walker and his brother Rob Walker and the sibling rivalry, may talk about it. I know Andre Meadows may mention it at Black Nerd Comedy. But it seems history is being made. And what I mean by history is that over the past 8 years or so, when a movie is, Hasbro over the past near decade, 8 years going on, basically it's been 8.5 years now. Ever since Hasbro has had a lot of their properties adapted, and I mean adapted for the big screen, from Transformers, G.I. Joe, to the board games of Battleship, that Ouija board, whatever you want to call it, to now most recently Gem, and then in 2017 My Little Pony, which is going to be the Friendship is Magic movie. One thing has always been constant about it. One thing has always been constant. And that constant is the fact that despite how you feel about a majority of those movies, or will feel about some of those movies, they've made big buck for Hasbro. They've made big buck for the movie company that's distributed them. Basically, they have gone the distance and made some big money. However, once in a while you get a flop. Now, we all know Transformers Revenge of the Fallen wasn't the best Transformers movie, but it still made big bucks. It still made big money. Now, the problem is though, even though it made big money, it made all this. If you catch my drift, it made big money, it made all this, if you will. It still was not. It was still considered a bad movie. It was considered probably a flop from a story perspective. Financially, it wasn't. But you kind of get the idea that there's always a bad apple in between. But the one thing Revenge of the Fallen can take refuge in is that as bad as it was, it was never given this distinguished honor. And this distinguished honor is the fact that a movie gets pulled only after 2 weeks. Yeah. In case you don't know, and it says it right there in the titles, the Gem movie has been pulled from theaters just after 2 weeks. Yeah, after 2 weeks. And usually a lot of other movies distributed by Universal and Blumhouse Pictures last a lot longer, if not a month or two. Gem didn't even last 14 days. Why? Because pretty much the people behind it had no clue what they were doing. Oh yeah, they tried to put in references here and there. They tried to say, oh, see, we're doing... They tried so much, and I talked about this. Andre Meadows has talked about this. Everybody that before and after this movie came out has talked about this. It's the fact that the people behind the Gem movie we're trying too much. We're trying to put in too much to try to appeal to every single audience out there. And it didn't work. It did not work. You know, they tried to appeal to the old school audience, the old school gym fans. They tried to appeal to this new generation of teeny boppers. They tried to appeal to let's support girl power and all this and everything else in between. And yet they forget that the only way you're going to make something like this a success is you stay true to its roots. You can modernize it all you want. You could set it into 2015. You could set it in 2015. You could set it in the 21st century. And you can modernize them and all that, but you got to stay true to its roots. You see, I think the problem with this is, and I'm not trying to defend the writers or directors here, but I think the problem is they looked at what they felt was a success with the younger teeny boppers. And guess what? They were proven wrong. Because Gem is not a High School Musical. Gem is not Glee. Gem is not a Justin Bieber documentary. Okay? Gem is a different property entirely. It is a Hasbro property. And you would think, after seeing what they have done with all the other properties out there, that despite, here's the thing. Andre pointed this out in his review. Because despite how you felt of how certain properties like Transformers and G.I. Joe were handled, at least they said, look, we're creating a new identity for this franchise. Yeah, we're still staying true to the roots of the original, but at the same time we're creating a new identity so that those newer fans as well as the old fans can come together and have something in common. Like, oh yeah, I know about that. And that line he just said, that came from the 86 movie. And then that new generation can be like, 86 movie? Oh yeah, and you can tell them, oh yeah, there was an animated film that was in 86, PG rated. I could show it to you. You see, at least they tried to put a common ground where they were creating a new identity, but at the same time they were staying true to its roots. You can't, here's the thing. Andre said there were some good bits in it. Only two good things, as he put it. One was at the beginning, when the girls are going through her aunt's attic, helping to clean it up and all that, and they get dressed up in outfits similar to what you see in the 80s cartoon. Now, is it me, or did those outfits seem very similar to that first promotional poster for the movie? I'm just saying. And then the other ending was the post-credit scene with the Misfits, one of the main central cores of the franchise. And yet you didn't even capitalize on that. You could have the writer of the movie come out at a convention or wherever and say, yeah, it wasn't exactly what we planned, but you can't win them all, right? Bull freaking shit. Bullshit. That's what I call it. Bull freaking shit. You know why? You know why I call it bull freaking shit? Because I think he knew it was going to be bad. I mean, heck, Andre pointed out in his review that Christine Marks didn't even know the movie was being made after the first trailer came out, so you had to do a lot of reshoots. You know why? Because they knew they screwed up. I don't think either one of those directors, producers, writers knew exactly who Jem was. They didn't. Which is why the movie failed the way it did, and is why Universal is pulling it from theaters. And I guarantee you by the end of next month, into January, the movie will be on DVD and Blu-ray, and within another month or so, the DVD will be in the $5 to $3 bin, and the movie will be in the $9.99 to $7.50 band for Blu-rays. And that's a fact. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I don't even think it's going to be getting a Blu-ray release. Honestly, I really don't. Here's why. Here's why. Listen up. It may get a Blu-ray release, but I don't think it's going to get one on a wide scale. It's mostly going to be DVD. That's how bad this was. I guarantee it. If it does get a Blu-ray release, fine. But again, like I said, I'm not going to basically hold my breath. I'm not going to hold my breath at the fact that this abomination, as some people would call it, is going to be at a high price range for long. There's a lot of movies that have been out for years, now on DVD and Blu-ray, and they're still up there in that price range of $15 to $20. And that's pretty good, because people like them. This is one of those movies that as soon as it comes out to DVD and Blu-ray within the next month or two, which is a guarantee, I just have that feeling, it's going to probably be at that price range, if not lower. Because you know a movie's bad when its initial Blu-ray release is retailed at $15. It tells you how bad it is, because then it's going to seep down to $9.99 within a few months of that, and it's going to seep even further to $7.50, and if not to $5. And I guarantee you by Black Friday 2016, that movie will be just $1 at a lot of Black Friday sales, if less. Now, like I said, are people like me probably going to pick it up for the nostalgic fact that, yes, it is a movie, it's based on the property? Yes. May not be truly based off it, but it's there. And at least it's something. But, as everybody's pointed out, you can't just have them throw in liners that are right off the theme song. You can't have girls telling the main character, "You're truly, truly outrageous." You can't have the love interest say, "Hey, you can't gems all this glitz and glamour, fashion and fame." You can't do that without saying, "Hey, let's put in the theme song." You can't do that. And I guarantee you, Christy Marks might have been paid pretty well to be in a cameo, but I know deep down she wasn't happy with what she had seen. She was not happy at all. I guarantee it. Now, do I think they're going to do another movie? Well, if they're cliffhanging it for a sequel, then you know what? Like I said before, in my last video talking about this gem movie, if they're going to cliffhanger it and go into a sequel, that sequel is going to be a soft retcon reboot. And you know what? That's not uncommon for movies to do that. Because Care Bears did it too. Yeah, in 1985, the Care Bears movie came out, right? Care Bears movie 2 came out, New Generation. Guess what that was? That was a soft retcon reboot. That basically retcon and rebooted the first film. So, yeah. What does that tell you? That kind of stuff is possible. And if you don't believe me, look at the Spider-Man franchise. Not even a few years after the last Spider-Man movie of the original trilogy with Tobey Maguire, they came out with a new one with Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield, or whatever his name is. They came out with a new one. And then they came out with a sequel. And guess what? Now, a few years after that, what's happening? They got a new Spider-Man. And he's being rebooted to be automatically already existing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So a reboot retcon right off the bat, whether it's a sequel or it's a whole new original reboot retcon, is not out of the question. And guess what? It's going to happen. It's going to happen with Gem. It's not a lie. It's not a false prophecy. It's a fact. It's going to happen because fans are still going to want that Gem movie. They're still going to want one that's true to this franchise, true to the show. Even if you update it to be taking place in today's generation, that's fine. But as long as you stay true to what made that show, that franchise, what it is. Now, I don't know if maybe the directors and writers had other projects in their minds and they're just like, let's just get it out? No. I mean, here's the deal. One person commented to me when I talked about this that they were originally offered $30 million to do the Gem movie. Yeah, $30 million. Do you realize what you could do with $30 million freaking dollars? Do you realize how much you could do with $30 million, if not $30 billion? Or $30 million on a Gem movie? Do you realize what you could... That is $25 million more. Okay? Do you realize what you could have done with $30 million, if not maybe $30 billion for a Gem movie? You could have done a lot more. Or $300 million, whatever it was. Basically a lot higher and a lot more feasible to work and do a Gem movie with. Do you realize how much more you could have done? You could have stayed true to the freaking roots. Okay, fine. If you want it, okay, fine. With 30 to maybe 300 million, whatever it was, budget that you were offered, and they declined. You declined. They declined, if you will, to go 5 million. Do you realize what they could have done, even if they wanted to stick with the script? They could have done a lot more. They could have done so much more. But they didn't. $5 million. $5 million freaking dollars. That's it. That's all you really want to do it for? $5 million? $5 million. That's all you want to do the movie for. Yeah, look where it got you. Look where it got you. Look where it got you, huh? It got you a movie not only panned from the beginning, panned after it got released, but now it's gotten it making history by being the first movie probably in history to be yanked only after 14 days. I can understand when Hasbro brings out the My Little Pony and Equestria Girl movies, puts them in the theaters for the weekends for the kids to watch on the big screen, and then pull them out so they can put them on DVD and Blu-ray. I get that. I get that because that's just a one-time showing for them. That's just to at least say, hey, it was on the big screen. It was a theatrical movie. Even though it really wasn't. It was more of a weekend special. But now, you want to come out. But now you have something. I mean, here's what you want a big comparison? You want a big comparison? And I think anybody here watching this will agree. If Hasbro wanted to put every single Equestria Girl movie on the big screen, if they wanted to do that, and give it maybe a month-long run, even at the same time it's on Blu-ray and DVD, give it a month-long run in the theaters to test out how people will react to a My Little Pony movie on the big screen, I guarantee you that after that month-long run, fans would be demanding that it be kept in theaters, even though they probably have it on Blu-ray and DVD. You know why? Because they'd rather see, because that is staying true to its roots. Even though it's a spin-off, it stays true to what it is. The thing is, Gem didn't do that. And that's a fact. I mean, I know some people might say it's kind of sad that the Equestria Girl spin-offs of My Little Pony would have lasted longer than the Gem movie did, but it's a fact. It's a true fact. And I think that is disappointing in its own right. But you know what? The director, the writers, Universal, Hasbro, Blumhouse Pictures, they have no one else but themselves to blame. I'm not going to totally put the blame on Hasbro, because I'm pretty sure they went to the director and writer and all that and said, hey, look, you guys are being offered this much to do the Gem movie. Take it, make the movie the way it should be. And they probably said, no, we're fine. Yeah, bullshit. Nowadays in Hollywood, $5 million is chump change. $5 million is chump change. Unless you have a good story or something like that, they could live up to the expectations of that $5 million and maybe make that back, if not more so. It's chump change. It's chump change, okay? There are people, and Andre Meadows pointed this out, that have bigger budgets for their YouTube videos. I think deep down, these writers and directors never liked Jim growing up. I bet they never liked Jim growing up as kids. And they probably saw that, hey, this is an opportunity to truly show our disdain for it. And if that's the case, job well done. But you know what? When the reboot happens, whether it's the sequel or it's an entirely retconned reboot right off the bat, and you have to bring in some of the same actors or actresses just to help retcon it or whatever, guess what? Universal, you have no one else but yourselves to blame. I mean, $5 million, and what do you use for transitions? Google Map. And what do you use? Google Maps. What do you use to fill up most of the movie for time? YouTube Instagram clips. YouTube Instagram clips that are not even of good quality. You don't even transfer them to 1080p or 4K. And you have the capability of doing that. You have the capability of doing that. But yet, you don't. You didn't. And that's a shame. You know why it's a shame? Because you guys should have known better. They should have known better, and everybody knows that. They should have known better, and everybody watching knows that. The fact is, what happened to the Gem movie after being pulled, happened to the Gem movie with it being pulled after 2 weeks, if not less? It shows you the fact that the writers, directors, and producers had no clue what they were doing, didn't know anything about the franchise, just saw, hey, let's make a quick buck. Oh, we could just spend this much, we won't have to worry. You know what? I guarantee you Christy Marx is already probably writing up a script for a new movie. She's probably going to work with Universal again, but this time she's going to work directly with Hasbro, and I guarantee you her and whoever she can get on board with her, they're going to do it right, and they're going to do it the way it should have been done the first time. So all I can say is this. I hope you guys that put this movie together are happy. Because this is something you guys got to live with for a long, long time. And you know what this does to you? This destroys any chance, or ruins any chance of you guys getting another shot at any kind of movie. Because of the fact that you don't want to take a budget that's big enough to work wonders with and decline it for something less. Now, true, like I said, if the movie and stuff's great for $5 million, that's good. And if you can make that back, if not more, that's great.